All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jason Zeller. I want to welcome you to INF876 penetration testing. I apologize there for week one. As I mentioned in the announcement, we typically have the Linux refresher, which is a quick, short session that kind of brings you into what Linux is and a few other things to remind you from the undergrad program if you came through there, or if you've been out in the industry and looking to take this course as a grad student, it would just kind of help you refresh some of those Linux skills. It's not a problem. Cisco just decided to do an update during week one, so we didn't have access to that, but it's not going to really change anything for this class. I always leave week one available for everyone. Out there in the Blackboard section, you're going to see a couple of different things that have been added out there now. So under learning modules on the left-hand side, this will be the main place that you guys will go through and access your course material. The first thing I'd like to cover is the syllabus. Now, this is a graduate level course. So in the past, we have taught this with the ethical hacking essentials content, and it was a little slow, meaning that students thought that there should have been more out of the graduate program. And that was great because that allowed me to add in additional materials we were looking for. We also got feedback from industry leaders and people that were hiring the students, and they would like to have seen a few other topics there covered as well. So one thing that we added this semester is the threat intelligence. So if you look at our schedule, you'll do about 2 modules each week. This essentials material is really rated for high school students as well as undergraduate students. That doesn't mean that it is very light. There's a lot of material to get through, so I want to make sure you guys have ample time to do that. So each week you'll cover 2 different modules, and you'll notice they're around week 8. That's really just a buffer week for you guys to finish up any remaining labs, quizzes, etc. So there is plenty of time for that kind of thing built in. So if you fall a little behind and you need to catch up, there's weeks scheduled in there for that. Starting with week 9, we're going to jump into threat intelligence. And this is a new module that we're adding this semester. And I'm excited to kind of work with it with you guys, as that was one thing that students had been through the program before, said they really wish they could have focused on some threat intelligence. So thankfully, we now have access to some material for that. Again, in week 14, you'll have the option to go through and finish up any labs or quizzes that you may be behind on. Week 15 will be an exam prep, and then week 16 will be a scheduled proctored exam. So the way this course material works is each one of these, ethical hacking essentials and the threat intelligence essentials, is essentially a certification exam that's available from EC Council. And so our content comes from EC Council for these two. The ethical hacking essentials, I'm not going to require that you take that exam this semester. So because we're incorporating 2 of these this semester, I really want to focus on the threat intelligence exam. It'll also be the last one to go through, and that's why it's scheduled like this. If you choose to take the ethical hacking essentials exam, I can definitely get you access to the course material, or not the course materials, you'll be going through that, but for the exam prep for that one, as well as the voucher. Now, each one of these is a very small fee. It's about $75, and they're working on the pricing and the rest of that right now. And get me some deep links for purchasing. That $75 gets you access to the ebook, which you'll already have in this class. It'll get you access to the labs written for that one. So for ethical hacking essentials, we won't be using EC Council's labs. We'll actually be using some labs I had wrote here on the NetLab interface here at Fort Hays. And then we'll also, you'll get the exam prep and you'll get the exam voucher, all for that same price. So students in the past really liked taking that exam. There's a very high attrition rate. I would say 90% of people that have attempted that exam have passed just fine. And of those, most of them were able to do it the first time. There's a couple that did some retakes, and we have some opportunity to get you some vouchers for retakes. So instead of you paying 2 $75 fees, I decided just to do the one this semester, and that will be for the threat intelligence side of it. And that threat intelligence one will again get you the course material, the labs, the exam prep, and the exam voucher. We're also working here at Fort Hays to try to get a test center set up so that if you could come to Fort Hays, you could take that exam locally, which would be a little cheaper. But we don't have that quite set up for this fall semester. So that's what the exam prep down is below. We'll actually go through the exam prep that's available from EC Council for that certification exam. And then during week 16, you'll be required to schedule and take that proctored exam. Now, you can actually take that during week 15, week 16, doesn't matter to me. I just need to know your final score and whether you passed. All right. And that will count as your final exam in this course. So that is the overall schedule that we're looking for. As far as the assignments and such, you'll notice the weight is really heavy on the labs and heavy on that proctored exam. That's because here we really focus on hands-on skills. And so while the reading is important, and there's a bit of reading there, I really want you focused on those hands-on skills and getting through there. All right. So as far as inside the course, all due dates are always going to be Sunday night at midnight. You are welcome to email me and I can work with you if you need an extension or something like that. I'm happy to do that. Please just reach out to me via email, state what course you're in, the reason you need an extension, and I can try to work with you. As far as the ethics in this class, it's extremely important. So a lot of these skills that we're going to be teaching and learning in here can be used for bad purposes, right? That's the black hat side of the world. My goal is to make you white hat people that are here to use the skills that you learn to help corporations defend themselves, as well as you being able to do penetration testing exams so that industry can understand what is going to be the most vulnerable pieces of their business. All right. So please take a moment to think about the ethics. I'm not responsible for you abusing any systems. If you use these tools going off on the web, dark web, if you get into trouble, that's on you. So please don't do that in this course. All right. Ignore this virtual material here. You'll actually see this in the section for this ethical hacking essentials. This is an old one, so don't worry about that. So for week 1 through 7, we'll click on ethical hacking essentials. And you guys can download the full ebook. So again, instead of you guys having to purchase everything, the ebook itself is free. Now, typically this is an ebook where you have to use it in their content management system. I do have access to a PDF here. So I have that full PDF available. Students have really liked that in the past if they're trying to study for the exam or going through that. So if you want the full PDF, you can get it here. For ethical hacking essentials, I've actually broken out the different modules from that PDF. So if you just want to read that section, you could do that. So for example, this week, we're going to go into week 2 and you'll start with module 1. And in here, you're going to have the module 1 PDF, which is the exact same thing that's in the full book. So it's whichever one you prefer to use. We'll have a video recording on the PPTX here, and I will go through these each week for the PowerPoint, and then you'll have a quiz that you'll go through and take there as well. There is going to be an extra video down here at the bottom. This is the one that EC Council produces for this content. I am going to kind of give you the highlights of what we want to know for this penetration testing class. But if you would like to have access to that video material, you do have that through this course, and that's part of us being an EC Council Academy partner. So this first week is fairly easy, or this first module rather is fairly easy. You just have a quiz going through there. And then in module 2 is when we'll really jump into quizzes, which will also be this week. And this week you do have quite a few labs. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You'll also have a quiz for that second module. So yes, this is a lot of work, but we're in grad school here. And I really like assigning the hands-on papers as opposed to the hands-on exams and labs versus writing papers. So these labs don't take very long. Some of these usually take 10, 15 minutes max. Some will take a little bit longer depending on the material. But in this first couple ones, these are all kind of preview labs and getting those skills sharpened for what we'll need to do inside penetration testing. At the bottom, you'll occasionally get some additional resources. This isn't something you have to do, but if you would like additional resources, those are down here explaining the 5 phases of ethical hacking, how we go about that. It's a very, very good video and should be reviewed by you guys to know what the process is of doing ethical hacking, and then some of the tools. You guys will get tons of hands-on with tools in here, and then 5 phases you guys go through there. So all great material. Again, students that have come through here really, really like this material. And then now that we're able to add the threat intelligence piece to it, I think you guys will come out much, much more employable as you come through here. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me via email. I know this isn't an online class. And I'll certainly be happy to schedule a Zoom meeting with you or anything else. I look forward to working with you this semester, and we'll see you soon.